A new earth with new nations, commerce, culture, and capabilities to serve and love our God. I mean, have you thought about a new earth, and here's the capital, and don't believe me, okay? I want you to see it for yourself. Look at verse 24. The nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth, guess there'll be kings, will bring their splendor into it. On that day, its gates ever be shut? No day. Never. Always open. For there will be no night there. The glory and the honor of nations will be brought into it. Nothing impure will ever enter it, nor anyone who does what is shameful or deceitful, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life. And then the angel showed me the river of water of life, as clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and the Lamb down the middle of the great street of the city. And on each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the trees are for the healing of the nations. No longer will there be any curse. The throne of God and the Lamb will be in the city, and his servants will serve him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. There'll be no more night. They will not need a light of a lamp or a light of the sun, for the Lord God will give them light, and they will, what do? Reign. Rule, reign, authority forever. This new nations and new world means if you have nations, what do? You have organization. Kings, that means there's authority, there's roles, there's jobs. If people are bringing the splendor of their nations, that means there's commerce, culture, art, music, and manufacturing. See, we get this idea that our real worship is singing in a worship service. Our real worship is being living sacrifices. In the ideal, perfect new earth and heaven that's now combined, you will do what you are gifted and passionate and made to do without sin and without comparison. And there'll be nations and kings and rulers and authorities and a world where you flourish. And when you do the best that you can do, you will come and you will offer that in worship to God. And by the way, that's what he wants today. That's what real worship is. We celebrate and sing and get a high view of him and we gather. But your worship is when you get up and take care of your family, when you wake up and make coffee for your roommate, when you walk out the door and your neighbors know someone who loves Jesus is in your neighborhood, when you go to your work and tell the truth and love people and are other-centered, you worship, you're a living sacrifice. You're going to do that without any sin, without any mixed motives, without any comparison. And you're going to serve. And guess what? Your roles and your jobs are going to be predicated on exactly what Jesus said. He said he gave to each of you a certain amount of time, a certain amount of treasure, a certain amount of talent. He told you in advance, this is like an open book test. This is what heaven's going to be like. This is what people will be doing. You get to choose what you do on this fallen earth in obedience to me, and there's a direct correlation to what your roles and experience will be in this new heaven on this new earth. And see, that's why the early church, and that's why when you see countries of persecution, they really think a lot about heaven, because unlike in affluent times, we actually think that we can bring our own little heaven on this earth. And so we get seduced and pulled into all kind of things that don't deliver. And God says, I want you to know, it's not floating around. It's not just singing with angels. It's not just sort of this ethereal, disembodied idea that you get from books and movies. It's a real place with real nations. And notice what? You'll reign.